Welcome to the Discover Fort Smith podcast. My name's Josh Bufink. I'm with the city, and I'm next to my lovely co-host, Emily Horn, with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, also known as Discover Fort Smith. And today you're in for a treat. We have the one and only Larry B. You probably know him as Larry B. Your full name's Larry Beadle. Yeah. And you have done music in the Fort Smith area for years, and we're excited to hear all about it. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
So how did you end up in Fort Smith, Arkansas?
Oh, well, I ended up here. I was living in Dallas at the time.
Okay.
And this was in 86, 85. And I ran into a gentleman who was the orthopedic surgeon of the Dallas Cowboys, Dr. Doug Parker. And I was working with Willie Nelson's producer, Bill York. You look on the Red-Headed Stranger album, he was executive producer for the Red-Headed Stranger album.
Cool.
And Phil and Jan brought him into Greenville Bar and Grill where I was playing with a blues singer named Greg Smith.
Okay.
And Greg and I, we wanted to change blues around a little bit. So we stuck synthesizers, put a synthesized sound to blues music.
Yeah.
And people were buying that. They liked that sound.
Nice.
And so Dr. Parker said, I'd like you to come and audition for my band in Fort Smith. And it was called Razorback at the time.
Okay.
And he flew me up here one Sunday, and that was that Monday. I got the call that Sunday. He saw me perform Saturday, called me Sunday, said we got a confirmed flight. Monday, January 28th, the shuttle exploded.
Oh, yeah.
And I landed in Fort Smith. That's how I know how long I've been here.
Yeah.
And so I came here, and I've been here ever since.
Nice.
Almost 40 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So did you grow up playing music? Has it just always been a part of your life and your family's life?
Yes, it always been a part of my life. My whole family plays music, and but it's a big family. The Beadles up in Springfield, Missouri. You know, my Uncle David, who I showed you a picture of. You know, he performed with some of the greats from Pearl Bailey. I remember meeting Pearl Bailey in Springfield when I was just a little kid, and Buddy Rich come in. And Buddy used to tell me, he said, okay, get behind the drums, little Larry. And so, and Ed Shaughnessy and Joe Morello and Roy Burns. Get behind the drums, little Larry.
And were they just showing you how to do stuff along the way?
We just sit there and just play.
Wow. So what instruments do you play?
Yeah.
Well, I started out as a drummer.
Okay.
And
because I've seen you play piano, and you're incredible.
Yes. Well, what's so funny about that is that my uncle was a jazz pianist and gospel pianist.
Okay.
And I didn't want to play piano. I just want to play drums because I was supposed to be the next Dave Beadle. I was supposed to be following Uncle David's footsteps. Mm-hmm. And it didn't turn out that way. My brother Joe and Tommy and Ernie, we got to talking, and it happened one night, and Joe was on the bed. He was playing My Girl.
Yeah.
He was playing the run to My Girl, and I said, your sixth note is wrong.
How did he respond to that?
I said, your sixth note is wrong.
Yeah.
And
is he older than you or younger than you?
Older.
Okay, so that's...
Were you a kid at the time?
I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I was half asleep, but I knew that sixth note was wrong.
Right.
And he said, you can hear that? I said, yeah. I said, and I heard things. And I had these melodies and sounds in my head, and I didn't know how to get them out. And so we needed a keyboard player, and the one keyboard player we had there, he was playing more gospel.
Yeah.
And so we had three drummers. We put together a neighborhood band of 16 pieces.
Wow.
and we had 3 drummers. I was given
How
one
does that work?
Yeah.
16-piece band.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's like a mini orchestra.
Yeah.
All these talented kids. They were super talented.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was in their book. And what we did, Joe brought them all together. We brought all these kids together and we formed this band called the Fabulous Elites. So we needed a keyboard player. So one of the drummers, his dad, they had money, so his dad had the money to buy him a drum kit.
Nice.
I didn't have one. But I gave him drum lessons.
Yeah.
I was the one giving him drum lessons. And the other young man was he just moved in Springfield from Kansas City. And he had a cheap little drum set called an Apollo kit. He had a kick drum and just 3-piece. But man, he can make it sound like amazing. And so we flipped on see who's going to be the drummer. So somebody got to learn how to play keyboard. And I lost. And
Did you pick it up pretty quick?
No.
Oh, really?
Really?
No, I hate it. I couldn't stand the instrument. I wouldn't practice it because I couldn't stand the instrument.
Yeah.
Why?
I said, it's too many notes.
Yeah.
I looked at it wrong. I said, I said, I don't want to learn this. And you're looking at these guys play, man, this is unbelievable. But in order for me to be in the band, I had to learn how to play keyboard. And I played drums and sang.
Yeah.
So that was my job.
Yeah.
So I had to figure this out. So I went and got some Mel Bay books, beginner's books, got the Mel Bay books, how to voice a chord.
Yeah.
And then I started asking other keyboard players questions.
Yeah. I think that's key right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started running across a guy like Johnny Harris, who came and worked with my Uncle David. He was the piano player for the Ink Spots.
Nice.
And I started asking him questions. And then I met this young man from Memphis, Tennessee, that played with a local group called Granny's Bathwater.
Granny's Bathwater?
Granny's Bathwater.
Nice.
They were a takeoff from Tower Power.
Okay, yes.
That's what signed them to Stax Records.
Okay.
Because we signed right after they did. And I met this keyboard player. He looked like Will Smith. Have a loud, strong laugh like Will Smith. You'd think he was a Will Smith.
Yeah.
And right now we are best friends today.
Oh, that's awesome.
Frank Westbrook.
Oh, cool.
And when I met Frank, he changed everything for me. I didn't know nothing about clavinet D6, and I saw Stevie Wonder play it, but he came in there and playing all these synthesizers and all this. I was fascinated with it.
Was that very common at the time, all the synthesizers and stuff like that, or was that?
Yeah, it was just brand new at the time,
brand new.
mono synthesizers. And Stevie made it. Stevie, when he brought out Talking Book, Superstition and all that, he kind of took it to a whole different level.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, and then we ran into, then you run into Sly Stone.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I said, I saw Sly Stone on Ed Sullivan, and I was just taken back with him.
Yeah.
So that's what got me started on keyboards.
Oh, that's cool. So, and you're still playing today?
Still playing today.
Nice.
Matter of fact, playing Sunday night at 9:06.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you must love it to continue playing.
Yes.
What keeps you doing that? Why do you keep playing? Why? Because you've been doing it for how long now?
61 years.
61 years.
Yeah,
So
what keeps it like new and fresh?
fresh? Yeah, for you.
The music. I love this. Well, I always loved country music. I always had a love for country music. I was country when it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
You heard that before.
Trademark that, yeah.
I was country when country wasn't cool.
We need to put that on a
Yeah.
shirt.
Larry B. Country before country was cool.
Yeah. Seriously. That's
I
great.
remember when we signed up with Mercury PolyGram. We signed with Mercury, and we done celebrity classics, golf classics. Here I am sitting at the table, you know, with the Commodores, some of the Commodores, a couple of the members of the Commodores, they were there. And
what the heck?
I had a chance to meet my idol for the second time, Charley Pride.
Yeah.
I met Charley in Dallas in 75.
Right.
And then I met him again at Celebrity Classic in Bentonville.
That is cool.
And it was such an honor and great guy. But I had a chance to hang out with the Hee Haw gang.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, to meet Lulu Rodman, to meet the Hager brothers. They all just nice people. Everybody was just super, just down to earth folks.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So country music, is that kind of where you got your start, you think, in country music? And then because when I've heard you, it's more like soul music now and R&B type stuff.
Oh, yeah. We were back in the 60s, we were playing a lot of James Brown and soul big band music and Kool and the Gang and the early Kool and the Gang.
Yeah.
And Ike and Tina Turner, and Motown sound and Stax sound. That's Hold On, I'm Coming and Soul Man and, you know, Something's Wrong with My Baby, you know, all that Stax music. And we had one young lady who, I mean, she was Aretha Franklin. Sue Ann King was Aretha Franklin to us.
Nice.
She can sing.
She from this area or
No,
Springfield?
she's from Springfield.
Nice.
Yeah, and Karen Jackson and Sue Marshall. They were our three ladies, the three young ladies we had. They called the stuff the Ivalettes.
Okay.
And the great singers, all three of them were great singers. Matter of fact, Karen Jackson went on to be a Supreme.
Wow. That's
With Mary Wilson, she ended up being one of the Supremes.
Man.
So yeah, that's how far it goes back. We started out with soul music.
Yeah.
And then eventually I started filtering off with soul music and country. And I was playing country back in this early 70s.
So is there a style of music you haven't played or haven't done? Because I feel like you kind of do it all.
I'm sure there's some opera out there.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
I got a limit there. I got a limit there.
So where does your musical background come from? You mentioned your family a little bit, but I know we were talking earlier and some of your family were musicians in the circus or something like that?
Yeah, I came from my grandmother's side, the Willards.
Okay.
All the music came from the Willard side of the family.
And they were music. You mentioned that the circus,
a musician,
and
Grant Willard was my great grandfather.
Yeah,
and he was the music director. He the Barnum Bailey Circus.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
He had that. So the whole band was my family. It was the Willard family.
He was saying like 22 kids. Yeah.
What an experience, though. So, I mean, this is like in your blood.
Yeah.
Music is in your blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
It goes back that far.
Do you write your own music?
Yes.
What's that? What type
country.
of music do you
Well,
so it's mainly country?
Yeah, we was writing in Grey Goats. Now a lot of the music we were writing when we was with Mercury PolyGram. We wrote all our music on Grey Goats. You know, when we done Nashville Now, the music we performed was our own music.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And you traveled everywhere with them,
with Grey
right?
Goats. Oh yeah, we went around the world. We opened up for many acts. You know, from Willie Nelson down.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorites do you have any acts that were your favorite to open for?
Well, one of my favorite, I had to say, Willie was one of the nicest guys ever. I can say, but don't get me wrong, it's a bunch of nice performers out there.
But I've heard that every time somebody talks about Willie Nelson, I've heard
always
that.
Positive.
Yeah, he'll stick around and shake everybody's hand, talk to everybody.
He does.
I got to see him in Chicago a couple years back. He's still touring, by the way, in his 90s. And it was that same way, just incredibly gracious with folks, like allowing them to come up and talk to him and meet him. Like, golly.
And his festival at his ranch.
Yeah.
That he does.
Yeah, on the 4th of July weekend.
I've heard like just amazing things about how friendly he is and
Yeah.
the welcoming vibe at the ranch and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's just a great. He was a great guy. He was nice, very nice to me.
Yeah.
And another group I really loved working with is Sleep at the Wheel.
Okay. I think I've heard them. I think I've heard of them before.
Sleep
Yeah.
at the Wheel.
Sleep at the Wheel. I'm gonna have to
Ray
look.
I'm gonna have
Benson
to
and
do
Sleep
some
at the Wheel.
Googling.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah,
Do some
they
Googling.
were another group. I mean, I dug working with, and there's a bunch of them we opened for, and Ronnie Millsap.
Yes.
Oh,
And Ronnie's cousin had a radio station in Springfield, Bob Millsap.
Okay.
And Bob was our producer
Oh, cool.
in Springfield, Missouri. And I met Ronnie back, it got to be 60s, because I was just a young kid. And he was just coming up in the country scene. So I knew Ronnie back in the 60s, because we used to do a television show called Big Hearted Bill, sponsored by American Motors.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we used to be on that TV show every Saturday.
Nice.
And that opened up a lot of doors for us.
Yeah.
And we were just kids. We were playing our original music.
Oh, that's
wow.
cool.
That is so cool.
We were playing our original music back then.
So you grew up on the stage.
Grew up on it.
Yeah.
Grew up on it, and I don't know nothing else. Now, one thing I can say, I had 3 jobs in my life. I worked 3 jobs. Now, I worked for my first job I ever had working at Dickerson Park Zoo.
Okay.
Oh no, working for my dad. My dad had a janitorial service.
Okay.
Then Dickerson Park Zoo is when I got my job in high school, and then I worked for Zenith Television.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I was there for about 4 or 5 months, wasn't long. And in Springfield, Missouri. And I worked for Mid-America Dairy.
Okay.
Them the jobs that I had. And I said, I can't do this no more. And so I moved to Dallas, Texas. But we got on the road and done some things, and that's what brought me here.
Were your parents pretty supportive of going the musical route?
Yeah, but I had a chance to go with a group called Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. I was 17 at the time, and they had a song called "Treat Her Like a Lady." Treat her like a lady, so specially. You gotta treat her like a lady. Remember that song?
Yeah.
It's too late to turn back now.
Yeah.
See,
Okay.
And so they had those. They was hit songs.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have known the musical group until you mentioned it.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
but I
this
do
was,
know the songs.
And this was in the early 70s,
Yeah.
72, 73. And here we are. They had the #1 hits in the nation, and they came and done a concert at SMS,
Oh, cool.
Missouri State University.
Yeah.
And after the show, we done an after party. And they came to it. And they saw us playing there. And next thing you know, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, we had Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose sitting in the living room of my mama's house. And my dad said, no, he's too young. I want him to get his education.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we'll take care of him. We'll get him a tutor and we'll take care of him, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to make sure. And they was just real sweet. Rosie said, I'll make no sure nothing don't happen to him. He can stay with me. And that's my dad said, no, he gonna get his education. And then I finished school early, and then I was gonna go on the road with Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. And then my brothers and I decided that we're gonna go on the road ourselves.
Nice.
So that's when we went on the road ourselves.
Nice. Was it difficult working with your brothers, like being always in close proximity and stuff?
No, we were like this.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, we always been tight. We always been tight.
Did you like being on the road?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different faces and places that I know I'd never see.
Yeah.
I had the chance to see. I got to see United States where I mean, I was blown away when we got to Arizona and it was snowing.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure,
I'd be blown away by that too, honestly, today.
that was matter of fact, it was around by Christmas time.
Yeah.
Christmas time. It was back in 74. Wow. And but we was on the road. We went and bought a brand new. We paid $53,000 for a brand new Winnebago Chieftain.
Nice.
And my dad said, that costs more than my house.
Well, it kind of was your house, right?
That was our home.
For real.
Yeah, we can cook in it, sleep in it, shower in it. So that's what we were on the road with. And I remember we went into the Commodores and in Chicago, Illinois, in Joliet, Illinois. And they were in a van. They were traveling. They was going to L.A. in a van. They was paying their way up to L.A. They was trying to go. I said, "Yo, that's where we need to go." And so that's my Commodore story. If I first met them back in the early 70s.
Cool.
My gosh. So you started so young. Did performing come naturally to you always, or?
Yeah, my whole family was. Everybody. Mm-hmm.
Never nerves or anything like that.
Because I get stage fright.
I do
I've
too.
been on stages for years, and I still get a little nervous.
Same. I get more than a little
some
nervous.
people I talk to, and they're like, no, it's just how it's always been, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's it's the normal.
Yeah.
My mom didn't realize that I was a singer, that I could sing that good, until a talent show. And I was in this talent show, and I believe I was 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old. And I was in the fourth grade. And I want to enter this talent show. And that was in 63. I was around about 8 or 9 years old. And I sung this song by Smokey Robinson. Mm-hmm. And it was called Mickey's Monkey. Mm. And it started out, lam-de-lam-de-na, 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 yeah, bop, bop, bop. Well, what happened, the young lady that's supposed to put the needle on the record, that's all we had back then.
Yeah.
I had the album, and she was supposed to drop the needle on the record. She did it great through the practice. She did it.
Oh, she put it in the wrong spot.
She hit the beginning of it, and she bumped into the needle.
Oh, no.
So she started all over again. Mm. So Smokey sounded like this. Lam-de-lam-de-na, lam-de-lam-de-na, lam-de-lam-de, lam-de-lam-de, lam-de-lam. So embarrassing. And then she went,
oh, no.
Just ruined the whole album.
Oh,
did you just roll with it?
I did the best I could.
Yeah.
Did you win the talent show?
Oh, I got on stage and I fell in my mother's lap. I was just bawling.
Yeah.
Aww.
She just sat there and she said, "Baby, it'll be another day."
Yeah.
She just sat there. I was just bawling. I said that was my first time on stage, my big talent day. But Mom, this boy, he got some talent. So when we started putting the band together, that was mine.
For some kids, that would have been like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing this again. But you stuck with it, and so that's
she motivated me to stay with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to have your mom say there'll be another day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This stuff happens in life, and there will be another time, another place, another moment. That's what a lesson to learn at 8 years old.
Yeah.
And to build that resilience, that young age.
It's very important.
Because in the music industry, especially, I imagine you got to be tough and resilient and.
It's a different world. I look at myself right now here at 69 years old. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing this I've been doing this for 61 years.
Wow.
And getting paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm blessed to still be doing it right now. You know, I know my time is coming to where I can say, well, I've done enough.
Mm-hmm.
I've done enough. You know, I'm not going to be like, I don't want to be like Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight, super talent. I just love them. I went and saw them last year, and they still got it. You know, but I think it comes to a time to where you got to say, all right, you did. I done everything I could in the music industry. I met great folks and played some great music. Had a great time, and I just kind of, when people come see me down, you know, I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that, because usually they throw the old dogs to the side. No, you know, because I'm still playing. I'm still hanging in there. And
yeah, it still sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw you last year at the Mayor's 4th of July, and you sound amazing. Actually, last 2 years, I think I've seen you there, and you always do an amazing job. And your wife, she sings, is that right?
Yeah, my wife Hazel sings,
Yeah.
and she never been on stage in her life until she met me.
Really?
Now, when did y'all meet?
We met 2011.
And she's got an amazing voice.
Yeah, never been on stage in her life.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
And you know, she was one of them singers who had the brush in the mirror.
Yeah.
And when I met her, my sister, my youngest sister, introduced me to her, because it was her boss. Hazel was her boss. And when my wife passed away, my sister said, I got somebody I want you to meet. I said, well, Marcia, I said, I'm not ready to meet nobody. I thought I was going to go out here and be the player from the Himalayas. That didn't work. And she said, go to Facebook and I want you to introduce yourself. So I went to Facebook and I saw a picture and I said, okay, I'll send a message. And so she asked me about this message I sent her. She thought it was so funny. And so when I met her, I talked to her on the phone that next day.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, there's something in your voice. And I heard it in her voice from the first time I met her.
You knew she could sing.
Just talk. I said,
yeah.
You ever sang before? I never been on stage in my life. I never, blah, blah. I said, wow. And so we just kept talking. But when we started dating, I said, something about, let me hear you. And then I heard her sing. I said, I can work with that.
Was it difficult to get her on stage?
No.
No?
No, I gave the confidence, it just built on her confidence.
Yeah. And
the confidence was there. She didn't know she had it.
Yeah.
The talent was there. She didn't know. The beautiful part and the funny part is to see the faces on her family.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
Because they were like, what?
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Sons, brothers, sisters, cousins, nephew, her mom, everybody was totally shocked.
That's amazing.
Now, that's all she does.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's all we do. We do our thing on stage, and that's right about it. That's all the work she needs. We're caregivers right now. You know, her mom's 100 that stays with us.
Oh, wow.
And her mom was the civil rights movement. She's a heavyweight.
Wow.
And so she stays with us. And so, but Hazel and I still perform and got a great band.
Where do you all perform at around town? Like, where are some of the places we can see?
Well, 906 is coming around.
Okay.
And I never played at 906 until this year.
Yeah.
And I used to have my own place over in Van Buren, Larry Beadle's Rhythm Room, featuring Hazel's Gourmet Chicken and Waffles. And we
Well,
had
that sounds amazing.
Yeah. When are we going?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to invite you to chicken and waffle at the house.
I'm in. You just tell
Yeah.
me when, and I'm there.
You say
Yeah.
waffle, I'm there.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, we just had it a couple of weeks ago.
Oh
And
man,
we invited some friends over and had chicken and waffles.
that
And so
sounds awesome.
We cook it at the house. So next time we do it, I got some friends. We're gonna invite some friends over. So I'll let y'all
That'd be
know.
great.
We'll change numbers here.
That'd be great.
So cool.
We'll change numbers.
So 906. Where else can people see you?
906, and I have some good friends on them, and I used to play. I played there a lot to help them out with their business. Zapatas,
Oh yeah,
Mexican restaurant.
yeah,
They're my good friends.
yeah. Right off Rogers. Yeah.
Yeah. Luis and Juan. They supported me when I had my place.
Oh, that's great.
So I said, I'm going to support y'all in y'all's place. Now they got other groups going in there and playing. And so I opened the door for that. And so that's great. But usually I'm going to Northwest Arkansas.
Okay.
Anywhere they call, I try to go. They're trying to get us in Dallas right now.
Nice.
Yeah. And we'll be at Fort Gibson at Cherokee Casino.
Okay.
And I'll be back out. I'm going to get back out here and rolling Cherokee Casino. And I hope I can. We're here. Choctaw is hiring a lot of tour bands.
Yeah.
A lot of local bands. We used to play out there a lot, Choctaw. So I'm hoping they open that door back up.
Right.
So I'm gonna be trying to beg them. Hey, open that door back up for it, because the local musicians need that.
Yes, they do.
So I haven't played at the what they call it, the smokehouse out here.
Oh yeah.
The road smokehouse. Mazard.
Blue Ember. Stonehouse. Sorry.
Stonehouse. I haven't played there. Last time I played there, I think it was a couple of years ago. And the last time I played there, people were cracking me up. They bought their lawn chairs, parked on the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like they need to get you back out there.
Yeah.
Have sidewalks. Yeah. And so I haven't played there in quite a while, but I like to go out there. And with this band I have now, I got a great band right now.
We were talking earlier, one of my friends plays bass in your band. Yeah. Aaron Mashburn. Yeah. So, and I know if the rest of the band is like Aaron, then yes, they're phenomenal. He's one of the best bass players I've ever heard. Yeah. He's fantastic.
Aaron is amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. I'm going to let him know that we're giving him a shout out on this show, and I'm going to send it to him. So, yeah, that's cool.
I call him the Big Easy.
Yeah.
He's easy going, just great bass players. Nashville, lucky they have Aaron.
Yes, they are. Yeah. They are.
Nashville session players, lucky to have him.
Yeah.
So he's good to go.
Well, speaking of Nashville, like before we started recording, we were kind of talking about different music scenes that you've experienced and that you've played in and stuff, and how the music scene has changed over time. Like, how has it changed and evolved since you started 61 years ago? And what are some of your favorite places to play?
Ooh. Well, the music, music's music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change. It's just like, I had a question brought to me one time. How do you describe funk? You don't. If you don't feel it, it ain't funky. Mm-hmm. That's why they call it soul music. If you don't feel it here, I don't care if you're singing country, opera, R&B, jazz. If you don't feel it here, they ain't gonna feel it.
Right.
The people don't take. I always say, don't take your audience for granted, because they smarter than they look.
Yeah.
They are a lot, and they know what they hear. And I say music has changed, and right now, even the scene from rap, it's done changed a lot. Mm-hmm. You got these acts out there right now, like Lizzo.
Yeah.
That's and Lady Gaga and these they open in what's they called SZA. They open in whole new doors.
Right.
And they are absolutely amazing. And it is not that their music's too young for me to understand. It's just that they put their passion in it then you understand where they're coming from.
Right.
That's the whole thing about music. I think about the music scene, and when I came here to Fort Smith, the music scene, when I got here 40 years ago, we had a great music scene. All different bands were playing. Everybody was wanting to get their band heard. And now, you don't have that many bands out here at all.
Right.
Everybody's gone to computers and the musicianship. And it seems like what we need to do in Fort Smith. I talked to Mayor McGill about this, as keeping our young folks here. They get that education and they gone. They going to Northwest Arkansas, going to Little Rock, or going to Dallas. They going to a city nearby. Well, I understand.
Right.
Because the opportunities are much different. And especially in the music scene, Carrie couldn't stay around here.
Right.
Grey Goose couldn't stay around here. We had to go, we had to get away, because the opportunities are a lot different. Now, I tell folks, they ask me, what do you like about Fort Smith? Well, if you want to get away from that city life and the fast pace, this is where to come. You can get from one side to the other in 20 minutes. Fort Smith has that, it's a slow down retirement, but we want to keep our young folks here because young folks it will grow the city.
Yeah.
That's what we need to concentrate on, really, and bring that music back with the young folks. Because a lot of young folks I know that was playing with me or worked with me or played out to my place, they all gone.
Yeah.
They all left.
So imagine there's a young person listening to this and, they are wondering, should I start this band or, is it going to be worth my time? Like, what advice would you give them if they're saying, yeah, I kind of want to get into it, but I'm a little unsure,
First thing I tell them is, what music do you want? What kind of music? What kind of music do you want to play that really touches your heart?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Second thing, get with somebody, a veteran that knows what they're talking about, and put you this ideal together. But what makes you different than this band? What makes you think that you got the right sound to generate people to come see you for years, not just for one night.
Right.
Yeah.
I got people who come see me for years. I still got fans that I had back in the 80s around here.
Yeah.
That still come see me. They know me from Grey Goose or know me from playing my own thing. They still support me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still right there. Gotta go. Larry Beadle's playing. Gotta go.
Yeah.
That's my fan base. And I tell young folks, do it. Do it, please. Please make that music. And if I can help you with, I told several musicians, I told some friends of mine, I'm not gonna say no names.
Yeah.
I told some friends of mine, I went and heard them play, and they've been playing for years. But I noticed that their audience, they only had 10 people out there in the audience. Why? And I had to sit down and tell them, this is why. The reason why you only got 10 people out here in this audience, because 1, you haven't changed your music.
Yeah.
2, you haven't kept up with the music and the style. And 3, you got to change your style. You still look like you did back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Something's got to change.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna come to your show, know what you're gonna look like, know what you're gonna sound like, know what you're gonna play.
Right. You got to keep them interested. Yeah, for sure.
Like those saying that you got to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
I might, I'll be 70 years old this year, but I keep it. Hey, I'm playing some music from Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
I love Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg produced this new artist, October London. And I'm playing some of his music.
Nice.
And I'm playing my own music. And, and I give homage. I'm going to give, at the show I'm doing Sunday, I'm going to give a homage to Prince and Morris Day.
Yeah.
And I respect those. I respect those brothers and the music that they made. But still, I can keep everybody on the dance floor dancing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still going to hit my Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
I think that's really being like a lifelong learner too,
Yeah, for real.
just like constantly absorbing what's going on around you.
And evolving.
Yeah.
People said, what's the fountain of youth? That's my fountain.
Yeah.
It was playing this new music that's coming out. I dig it.
Yeah.
I don't complain. I remember when my mom and dad, they really frowned about us back in the 60s when we started growing afros.
Yeah.
Started listening to Sly Stone.
Yeah.
Started listening to the Funkadelics.
Oh, yeah.
We started listening to music like that and Kool and the Gang and these, Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Yeah.
My dad, y'all listening to that noise. But you got to evolve around this noise. This noise, they saying something.
Right.
They saying something. And that's what, to me, I think that's the secret to youth right there.
Yeah.
Staying up with today's music and the day's dances, and, boots on the ground. That's what they're doing right now. Slap that fan.
Yeah.
See, that's what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So keeping up with the times and keeping up with people doing, don't complain about it. Understand what they're doing. Listen.
Right.
Sometimes you got to stop and just listen. Zip it up and listen.
That's good advice in a lot of areas.
Yeah, for real. Just in general.
Yeah.
But you were talking about, keeping the youth and attracting the youth to stay in Fort Smith. What do you think are some things Fort Smith could do to do that better?
Cater to these young people who's graduating from the University of Arkansas. Let's get them involved. Get them involved with the city. Get them involved with what do you want to see that we can bring in this town that Northwest Arkansas has it, but we don't have it. Don't make no sense. Why come I got to go to Northwest Arkansas or go over to Tulsa and what we can have here? Because what we got to do is get people out of this old backward thinking.
Yeah.
I don't want to step on any toes though, but we had a lot of opportunity in Fort Smith to change things.
Yeah, for sure.
And the city didn't want it. And so that's when I opened up my restaurant place over in Van Buren. I had a gentleman to back me up, and Mr. Hodo, and I said, he said, Mr. Hodo told me, he said, because I was playing out here at Cherokee Casino, and he came up to me, he said, I'm going to invest in you, your name. I want your name on that building, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. But I want to give people an experience like when the White Carry had the movie lounge. I want to give them that experience that you never had before.
Right.
You pull up, valet take your car to go park it for you. You come on in. Here, good food, good music, nice place to go, clean. That was the most responsibility. Then young folks start understanding where I was coming from. I say, well, I want you, let your band come out here. Let me hear what your band sound like.
Yeah.
I want to get them in here because they got a different crowd.
Yeah.
They're going to bring their families and bring them in here. I want to, that's what I need.
Right.
So I think we need to cater to get some of these young folks more into it and bring younger acts here instead of bringing, I mean, we don't bring enough here.
Yeah.
The city can afford it.
Yeah.
We need to bring younger acts here. I don't think there's nothing wrong bringing, but
Yeah.
I'm saying Lizzo and bringing on some of these young talent here.
Yeah.
I like to even bring Eminem.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I really do. I think we're on the cusp of a lot of that. Like that, it's just like a little something,
over the hump.
just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit of work to get there. But I think we're making strides in a lot of those places. It's just we're right there. It's just a little bit of push, a little bit of motivation to get over the edge. And but I hear what you're saying. I really think that the next 10 years are crucial for our city, and we're going to see things change.
Yeah.
But we've got to be open to it.
You got to be open to it.
Yeah.
When Bill Myers, Newmar had a rib room, and he opened that up where upcoming bands can come in there and perform, put that big stage in there, sound. But he opened up where upcoming acts, where young folks can see these upcoming acts. See, we don't have it no more.
Yeah.
We don't have that. And that's what they need to see. And that's what this town needs to see, because we need to, because without young folks, your town ain't gonna grow.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, that's very true.
We need, like y'all, we need more, we need y'all out there doing more of this.
Yeah. Did you just call me a young folk?
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much. Made my day. No, but I tell you, I saw Lizzo perform at ACL Fest, and that was amazing.
Oh, she's amazing.
It was packed. They have the Zilker Park, right? And there you could not see any opening in the crowd. I mean, it was thousands and thousands. It was the biggest crowd that they had ever had at ACL was for Lizzo. And there's drone footage you can find of it online, just of how many people were packed in to see her perform, because she's just like an incredible performer in her music. People just
I think it's great, because you know what we should do in Fort Smith. Now, this is my suggestion. We should open up Garrison Avenue, just make that a whole music avenue, and shopping, just like Eureka Springs.
yeah.
For example, we need to open our city up and bring in talent. Let people play on the streets.
Yeah.
This whole avenue should be packed with people every weekend.
Oh, that'd be amazing to see. Because, I mean, when you go to places like Austin, when you go to places like Nashville, that's what you get.
That's what you get.
That's what, walking down the street, it's an experience.
That's what you get.
You hear all the different genres of music. You see all different kinds of people.
Yes.
All a variety of different shops and stuff. That vision for Garrison is just, that would be
Open
amazing.
the door. Open the door. And what we can do, we can leave Garrison open, but on the weekends, shut it down. Block it where no traffic comes through. Or you only get so much traffic through. Or make it where it's all walkable.
Yeah.
And everywhere you go, you're going to hear a different band playing. You're going to hear country music. You're going to hear R&B music. That's how you wake a city up.
Yeah. Reminds me of Beale Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you're so right, though, about this idea of music being such a life-giving force to a city, and the accessibility to music being life-giving.
Yeah.
Because if you have all this music, but not everybody can access it.
Right.
I'm going to tell y'all a story. I used to work. I had a job at Dickerson Park Zoo, and the funny thing about it, I had several incidents out there. I don't know how come I was involved. I guess it's just a testimony for me to tell it. I was cleaning this bear cage with a friend of mine, Marvin Grant, And these kids were visiting the zoo. And they were out there touring the zoo. We won an award this year for the best park in the city. City Park Waters. First time they had it in years. And so we was cleaning the bear cage. So to get the bear in the cage where you can go and clean it, you got to throw these bear chips in it. And he runs in there, and because I fed him every morning. And so we was in it, and this kid was playing with the chain. Now, if you lift this chain up, the weight goes down, and the cage comes up. Well, that happened. The kid hit the chain, and he was just being a little mean, just a little mean kid. And I said, "Don't mess that chain." He messed with that chain. Well, the chain came up. He started running, and the cage came up, and the bear came out.
Oh my gosh!
Well, Marvin was behind me. Marvin was gone, and Marvin shut the gate behind him.
Yeah.
I was trapped in that, so I climbed up on the fence, the chain link fence, and hung upside down. Where the bear walked out, and I was calling for help. This bear a brown bear lifted up, grabbed me by my waist, brought me down, and had his paw around my neck, and his head was right here.
No way.
And I just started humming. He just started humming, and he just started licking my face. Music covered. So the story about the music comes to Savage Beast.
Oh, wow.
I'm a living witness.
That is crazy.
Yeah, he licked the side of my face, and I just pat him on the side of his head. And I just kept humming.
Oh my gosh.
How terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They threw some more bear chips in there, and he went down and got him back in the cage.
Well, I'm certainly glad you're here today.
Yeah, for real. After hearing that, what an honor.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
It was just humming in his ear and just humming. He loved it, and I just pat him on his head because he knew me.
Yeah.
He knew I wasn't afraid of him, but I didn't try to show no fear, and I just kept humming.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
So before we wrap up, if people wanted to find where they could see you next, if they want to see a list of shows or something, where do they do that?
Oh, you can go to Larry B Shows.
Okay, Larry
on
B
Facebook.
Shows.
Pull up Larry B Shows, and it'll show you everywhere we go.
Great.
Cool.
And my wife keeps that all up, and so let you know what we're doing and how we're doing it, and you know what? It's a place in Northwest Arkansas, and it's a retirement place.
Yeah.
Y'all, these folks are 80, 90 years old up,
Yeah.
And I go up there to play for them.
Yeah.
And I play 50 and 60 music. Y'all, they the cutest things, So they get out there and they dance, they have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
I do it around about 2 or 3 times a year. I know they bring other groups in, but I know I'm their favorite.
Yeah.
Because I hit all the 50s and 60s music. Yeah, they're the cutest folks you ever seen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I still like to do that.
That's awesome.
I have one more question.
Okay.
I can't let you go without asking this question.
Okay.
So, if we were going to make a Larry B playlist.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good question.
If we were going to make a Larry B playlist, what would be the must-have artists that you would recommend people listen to?
Well, you can go to my website and pick up a lot of my original music. I say that'll be good. And must hear artists that.
Like if you were going to make us a mix, I always go to mixtape.
I would say I will put some of my original music on it, and I put my little version. I have a new version that I took this song of Prince, Kiss.
Yes.
And I put a little James Brown with it.
Oh, nice.
Well, I got to listen to that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. And I say some of the slow songs that we do, and I would say some of this new. I kind of took this October London that Snoop Dogg producing and kind of put a twist to his music too.
Oh, cool.
So Yeah, stuff like that. I'll say that'd be a good list. But a lot of my original stuff you like too.
Yeah. And what about inspiration? Like artists that you listen to for inspo?
Oh, I like to listen. Oh, well, this October London's one up. Marvin Gaye.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I listen to them. I listen to that old Stax sound of. I like that young Otis Redding, and I love Luther Vandross.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love Luther Vandross.
Yeah.
And I like some of that 70 music.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. I mean, it still burns in my heart. I like that old Ohio Players.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
yeah.
here in Parliament, George Clinton,
Yeah.
Funkadelics.
Yeah.
I like that funk.
Yeah. The Meters are one of my favorite from that time.
Yeah. But you know what? I enjoy. You know who another young man that I like too, Bruno Mars.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I love Bruno Mars in Sonic Silk. Silk
Yeah.
Sonic.
The band that they have.
I like them a lot. I mean, I like to go see them, and my favorite vocal group. You know, I love the Temptations because I had a chance to sing with the Temptations one time.
Oh, cool.
And New Edition.
Okay.
I love New Edition, and so them the kind of folks that keep me going, keep me young. Watching them do their thing, and so. And I still love my Shaka Khan and my Gladys Knights and my Aretha's and Whitney Houston. Matter of fact, I got Whitney out in the car playing now.
Oh, nice.
Woo.
Yeah.
Gone too soon.
Yeah.
For sure.
For
and,
real.
and Michael we lost so many. Michael, Prince, and we just lost so many great singers. And so I still listen to them. So, so I must say I'm Quincy Jones, I can't. You just can't go wrong with that. And when you listen to my country, I like what this young man Shay and Danny Shay. I like what they're doing. I dig him too.
That's cool.
I know they're from this area.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. And I think I'm really happy for them.
Yeah.
Them and Kerry, and I'm really happy for them.
Yeah.
And I hope, and I wish them the best. Because, hey, if I was 30 years younger, I'd be out there doing it too.
Oh, heck yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on today. This has been so much fun.
Yes, it has.
Chatting with you, because I know we're both music lovers.
Yeah.
This has just been awesome. A great time.
I appreciate it, y'all.
So.
And I thank y'all for asking me some good questions, too.
Oh, glad.
Just let me talk.
Yeah, you had the good answers.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if any of you guys out there are interested in being on the podcast, you can go to discoverfortsmith.com/podcast and fill out the interest form to let us know. And we'll see you next time.